The city of Jerusalem is home to just under 1 million people, and they come from all walks of life: Jewish, Muslim, Christian. In that respect, it's very similar to Gibraltar, but one Gibraltarian understands it better than most. And in a couple of weeks' time, she'll be running for the post of deputy mayor of one of the most ancient cities on earth. So we've taken some time out from our events in Tel Aviv to come here to speak to her. Fleur, first of all, tell us what it means to you for you to be standing for this role of deputy mayor for the city of Jerusalem.
Well, it's very exciting, and I also feel like it's a deep sense of responsibility. The responsibility for our city, the responsibility for the capital city of the State of Israel, and also the capital city of the Jewish people. So I'm actually very excited, and I really hope we win.
Politics runs deep in your bloodline. Your father was Chief Minister of Gibraltar for many years. Your sister sits as an independent MP in the Gibraltar Parliament. So tell us how it feels for you to be carrying on this family tradition.
I guess when I was small, it wasn't, I never felt there was any type of pressure on us. It's more about leading by example, seeing my father work for his people tirelessly, morning, noon and night. People would come to him at all hours. He would always see everybody. And that kind of, seeps in. It creates a sense of responsibility for public duty. And 5 years ago, I had this opportunity to serve my city, and I took it because of the way that I was brought up. And for my sister, I'm sure it's the same. We didn't plan out a career from the age of 20 like some people do, which is also very legitimate. Opportunities presented themselves. There were moments that we felt we had to step up to the plate, and I think we both did that.
So without going into too much detail, tell us what politics your party stands for, and what are the main issues that you'll be fighting on at this mayoral elections?
Well, Jerusalem is probably the most complicated city in the world. We have a very delicate demographic situation here, where almost 40% of the population here are Arab East Jerusalem residents, 30% are ultra-Orthodox Jews, and the rest of it is the rest of us. And the main challenge here is how we're going to create models for living together. And it's not just a question of getting along and being able to coexist. It's a question of the economic development of the city, because these two populations, the ultra-Orthodox and the Arab populations, are the poorest populations in the country. They're 50% live under the poverty line, and so the economic development and the prosperity of these communities is tied into the prosperity of the entire city, which happens to be the capital city of the State of Israel. So there's a lot at stake, and my party represents sensible economic policy, ways to continue building in the city so that people can afford to live here. Housing has become extremely expensive. We also represent coexistence between the different groups, how it is that we develop those models for living together. And of course, we've got policies on all the major city municipal issues. But basically, we want to create a better Jerusalem for its residents, but also for the country as a model for a future state of Israel.
Now, I'm sure you follow politics in Gibraltar very closely. Can you tell us what similarities there are between the way politics is carried out here in Jerusalem and in Gibraltar, and what differences are there as well?
Well, the similarity is that it's both diverse communities. Obviously, the sizes are completely different. We have 900,000 people here in Jerusalem, but we have that sense of the different groups living in one place. And what I take from Gibraltar to the politics here is that I know it can work. I know that a country like Gibraltar, who is a majority Catholic country and who voted again and again for a Jewish chief minister, is a country that understands coexistence. And I try and take the spirit of how I grew up and the spirit of Gibraltar and the coexistence that exists there and try and bring it here and say, hey, it can work. I've seen it work. I grew up, I breathed it. It can work. We have models. We have goodwill from the people. We can do it.